Imagine you are 9 years old. Your father kneels before you, looks you straight in the eye, and says, "You will either destroy Rome or Rome will destroy you." And from that moment forward, you dedicated every breath, every step, every battle to one single goal, bringing the greatest empire on earth to its knees. That boy was Hannibal Barca, and Rome never forgot him. Welcome to Comic Book Memory. Today, we tell the story of the man who made Rome tremble not from inside its walls, but from the last place anyone expected. Hannibal was born in 247 BC in Carthage, a powerful North African city that had one obsession: destroying Rome. His father, Hannibal Barca, was a brilliant general who had already fought Rome once and never forgave them for winning. The story goes that young Hannibal begged his father to take him on a military campaign. His father agreed, but only on one condition. Hannibal had to swear before the gods that he would be Rome's enemy for life. He swore, and he kept that oath until his last breath. At 26, Hannibal became the commander of Carthage's army in Spain. And immediately, he started planning something so insane, so impossible, that Rome never even considered it as a threat. He was going to attack Rome not by sea, not through the front door, but by crossing the Alps, on foot, in winter, with war elephants. Think about what that means. The Alps in winter are not mountains, they are walls of death. Temperatures drop to freezing, paths disappear under snow. One wrong step means falling into an abyss. And Hannibal did this with a massive army of nearly 60,000 men and 37 war elephants. The journey took 15 days. By the time they reached Italy, he had lost almost half his men to the cold, the snow, and the terrain. But the men who survived? They were no longer just soldiers. They were something else entirely. Rome sent army after army to stop him. Hannibal destroyed every single one. At the Battle of Trebia, Roman defeat. At the Battle of Lake Trasimene, Rome lost 15,000 men in a single afternoon. But nothing prepared Rome for what was coming next. 216 BC, the plains of Cannae. Rome assembled its largest army ever, 86,000 soldiers. They outnumbered Hannibal's forces nearly 2-1. Every Roman general, every senator, every citizen believed this was the day Hannibal finally dies. They were wrong. Hannibal did something that military academies still study today. He deliberately weakened the center of his line, pulling it back slowly as the Romans pushed forward. The Romans saw this as retreat, as weakness. They pushed harder. They pushed themselves right into a trap. As the Roman center advanced, Hannibal's stronger wings curved inward, wrapping around the entire Roman army like two hands closing into a fist. 70,000 Romans were killed that day, in a single afternoon. It remains one of the deadliest days in military history. And yet, Hannibal never took Rome. He spent 15 years marching through Italy, winning every battle, but Rome refused to break. They changed their strategy. They stopped fighting him directly. Instead, they attacked Carthage itself, forcing Hannibal to abandon Italy and return home. At the Battle of Zama, far from the Alps and the Italian plains that were his playground, Hannibal finally lost. Not because he wasn't brilliant, but because he was alone and Rome was an empire. Even in defeat, Rome feared him. They exiled him. They hunted him across the Mediterranean for years. And when Roman soldiers finally closed in on him, leaving him no escape, Hannibal took poison he had kept hidden in his ring for exactly this moment. His last words, according to historians, "Let us relieve the Romans of their long anxiety, since they find it too long to wait for the death of an old man." He died on his own terms, because that was the only way Hannibal Barca ever did anything. 2,000 years later, every military academy on Earth still teaches the Battle of Cannae. Every general who ever attempted to encircle an enemy was borrowing from Hannibal's playbook. Napoleon studied him, Rommel studied him, Patton studied him. Rome won the war. But history remembers Hannibal. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Comic Book Memory because our journey through history is far from over. And as always, history is stranger and crueler than any fiction. See you next time.